Hello, good morning, everyone in the house. If you can see my screen clearly and you can hear my voice clearly, kindly type in a hi in the comment section. I want us all to be on the same page as possible before I kickstart the session. So kindly confirm that you can see my screen and you can hear me clearly by typing in hi in the comment section. Okay. Hello, Carrie. Good morning. Okay, I see you. Thanks for that confirmation. Oh, great, great, great. Thank you very, very much for that. Can I see other feelers in the house? Is anyone with me? So we can kickstart today. Oh, great. 764. Thank you very much for that confirmation. Good morning to you. Oh, great. Thank you very much. Thanks. I wish you same. So I want to welcome you all to yet another beautiful session of Extra and Speed Live, hosted by my humble self, Sheriff Daramola. I shall be taking you on a trading journey in the next 1 hour, where we shall be evaluating the market using price action, chart patterns, and market structures to identify trading opportunities lining up for us in the New York session today. In addition to that, you might also want to, if you have any pairs you want us to look at, or you want to have any commodity you want us to deliberate on, feel free to drop it in the comment section, and I will try as much as possible to squeeze it into my schedule for today. So what we are going to be doing today, we are going to be deliberating on the pairs we analyzed yesterday. We are going to be looking at how well these pairs are doing so far. I will be sharing, giving you an update on what is going on, and if there are any advices or what plans we need to be doing against the New York session, I will be sharing it with you. Okay. Ashitaka, hello, how are you? I didn't see you yesterday. Trust you are doing well. You want us to look at gold and oil? Of course, we are going to. I think we have a follow-up on gold, so it's part of our itinerary for today. So Sid Davi, hello, Dragon 20, you're welcome. 959, good morning. Glad to have you around. So let's kickstart the session. And as usual, we are going to be starting with the US oil. And on the US oil, what was our scenario yesterday? We were expecting a bullish momentum. I was more of a bullish momentum yesterday after looking at the structure we have on the 1 hour time frame. And remember, we were able to take some profits since the beginning of the week. We took this move to the downside on Monday. We took this trade to the downside on Monday, which has put us on a positive note this week, and we are looking to complement that achievement for the week. However, as soon as price broke below the $95 level, we saw our price has been consolidating between the $95 mark and the $92 area. And one thing I said yesterday is that we are going to be waiting for a signal to happen before we want to join any momentum drive on the US oil. And I was telling you that we have two scenarios. and I told you that we could be looking forward to a breakdown of that structure as a signal, or we could be looking forward to a breakout of that structure, which actually happened during the later part of the New York session yesterday, giving us that signal that we are going bullish. However, price is yet to come back and do a retest of structure to give us further confirmation that we are going bullish on this one. So what we have seen so far in the last 24 hours is that price is still back within that consolidation phase area, that is between the $95 level and the $92.50 area. So what is going to be our plans going into the new week? Are we still going to be expecting that bullish momentum? Well, if I remember vividly, and if you remember vividly, I shared with you a scenario where after zooming in to see what has been happening in the past, and we were able to identify this level at the $93-94 area, which has been a major area that has pushed price to the upside. If you can see my screen at this point, you can see I'm highlighting those levels where price action came into before we saw a bullish momentum, and right now price is right within that area, giving us a consolidation phase, informing us of how participants in the market are still yet to make a decision. And one thing we should all understand at this point is that the consolidation phase we identified here is right within a demand zone that has been respected in the past, and one thing we want to be looking out for is a possible bullish momentum here. And though we had a signal yesterday in the form of a breakout of that level, however, the confirmation has not yet come. We expect price to come back into structure, which it has, and we still want to see price give us a further confirmation that we are going bullish. So now, as we head into the New York session, what is going to be our plans going forward? Well, for me, what I'll be saying here is that since we already have that breakout of structure at this point and price has continued to reject the $93 level, I want to assume that this $93 level has become peculiar with a buying niche, and I want to be identifying this area first. And let's give this a dark color so that I can label it our new demand zone for the week. Okay, so I'll be labeling this area for the sake of clarity so that we can have a visual understanding of what we are talking about here. So let's place it right inside and the center. Okay, great. So we have a demand zone here. So going forward now, we want to see price continue to look for opportunities right above this level, as anywhere right below this level will negate whatever bullish potential we are looking for. So if we see price break below the demand zone here, then definitely we want to wait and see how price is going to react before we take any opportunity on this one. So as long as price is right above this demand zone, I think it's most comfortable that we could be taking a bullish potential from this area with a stop loss right below the previous structure, which is around the $92.50 area as our stop loss area, and we hope that price will continue to the upside from here. And if we have a breakout of this $95 mark during the course of the New York session, we could still wait for further confirmation in the form of a retest of the structure to add more position to our existing trade. And if price continues to the upside again and we have a breakout of that bearish trend line, a retest of structure should give us another opportunity to add more position to our existing trade as we continue to guide price action right into our take profit target, which falls around the $100 mark area. So if we have price continue the upside as expected, we should be having around over 500-600 pips to catch here. And remember, we have juncture. If price continues to give us further confirmation at different market structure here, we want to be adding more position to our existing trade so that we can maximize our profits on this one. So our buyers on the US oil remains bullish at this point, as we have identified a consolidation phase right within a demand structure, and at the same time we were able to identify a demand zone around this area. As we can see, every time price comes into the $93 level, it gets rejected by the buyers, giving us a clue into the strength of the buyers at this juncture in the market. So let's see how price is going to play out in the next couple of hours, and then we continue to guide our position as price continue to move in the direction we have projected. So on the other scenario we want to be looking out for, that is, we want to ask ourselves if price breaks below that demand zone. Well, what I'll be saying at this point is this. Remember, we have a potential demand zone at around the $91 area, which was identified here. As we can see, price rejected this level at one point in time. And so if we see price break down that demand zone here, that is, we have a bearish engulfing candle striking through that demand zone, then we don't want to be excited, as that's a signal that we might be having a bearish momentum. But I will not be advising that we take any bearish momentum right now, unless you are a short-term trader that you're only looking for small pips, where the potential demand zone here will be your take profit target, which will dovetail to about how many pips that is. I think around 150 pips in that regard. So if price breaks down that demand zone, I'll be advising that we remain patient. That is for those who are on a long-term perspective like me. So what I'll be advising, remain patient to see how price is going to react or relate with this potential demand zone. That is, if price breaks that demand zone, let's look at how price is going to relate with this level. And if we further have a breakdown of that potential demand zone at around the $91 area, then I want to be seeing that as a signal that we might be going bearish in the nearest future. And if that breakdown of that potential demand zone happens, then I want to be waiting for further confirmation, which will come in the form of a retest of either that potential demand zone here, or probably the demand zone that was broken earlier. And then we look out for patterns on lower time frame. And when I mean patterns, I'm talking about reversal structures to join the decline to the downside from there. So this is what I will be looking out for if price breaks below that demand zone. So if price breaks below that demand zone, then I think we have a long period of time before the confirmation finally happens, unless you are a short-term trader, you want to take advantage of that move. But if you are a long-term trader like me, I'll be suggesting that we hold on. Let's say our price will relate with the $91 area, and then if we have a breakdown of that level, a retest of structure should give us a confirmation to go bearish. However, the other possibility we have here is if we have a breakdown of this level, price is likely to come into this level and do a sharp rejection of this level, or give us a reversal pattern. There are two things that could happen here. It's either we have a sharp rejection of the potential demand zone, or we have a reversal pattern. That is, if price does not break below that area, then we want to look out for patterns here that supports a trend continuation. And if that happens, then we want to be taking that confirmation to the upside from there, with the take profit target still remain at around the $100. You can put it at $99, $98, $100, $102 area, at least for the meantime, after which we look out for how price is going to relate with that level, if it's going to be warranting us to continue the bullish momentum, or we might be seeing a reversal pattern from that level. So this is what we are going to be looking out for here on the US oil. I hope I made myself very clear. And if you think you are not clear enough and you still need further clarifications, or you still need me to shed more light in whatever I've discussed so far in the last couple of minutes, feel free to drop a word or two in the comment section, as I will be looking at the comment section in a moment to see if we have any inquiry in that regard. So I'll be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds off to read the charts, and let's see if we have any questions whatsoever. So feel free to drop a comment if you don't mind, and I promise you I will be willing to be of help. So Ashitaka, okay, trust you got the information I just shared. If you have any questions, let me know. Oh, you were not able to be online yesterday. Oh, that's great. Okay, it's okay. I'm glad you are here with us today, and thank you for being around. Well, I'm fine. I'm fine, thank you, Ashitaka. All right. Okay. Papa Powell. Okay, what's up? Okay, I'm good and trust you're doing well. 9001. Hello. Sisada 1975. Hi, how are you? Diaba. Is it just for a few good days? I am not sure I understand what you mean by that, Diaba. You might want to clarify. Chris 40 is asking us to do oil. Oil, I think, okay, we just talked about oil. We just talked about oil. I think I have fulfilled that. Zozo X56. Okay, good morning. Okay, Diaba wants us to do Euro USD. I think we are going to look at Euro USD too. We are looking at Euro USD. So try and stay tuned in and stay with us through the session so you don't miss out on the information I will be sharing on the Euro USD. Just 10, okay. Ralph 669, hi, how are you? Okay. Walk 2307, hey, how are you? Good morning. Trust you're doing well. Glad to have you around today. 3651, hi, okay. Dragon 20, hi, hello, good morning. Louis 1430, you're welcome. TTR 972, good morning. All right, in the absence of no questions, I think it is high time we moved forward so that we can cover most of the pairs we want to look at today. So without further ado, let's dive into the chart one more time and move on to the next pair. Okay, we're 2307. Okay, glad you're fine. Glad to hear that. So I hope you are going to stay with us through to the end of the session. Okay, so let's move on to the next pair. The next pair is the UK oil. On the UK oil, obviously, we should be expecting a similar scenario with that which we had on the US oil, and we were able to make some profit here on the UK oil. We took this move yesterday on Monday. I guess we took about over 400 pips here on Monday, and since price broke below the major key level at the $100 mark, we saw a consolidation phase as price continued to oscillate right between the $100 level and the $98.50 area. And during the course of the live session yesterday, I told you that we are going to be patient to wait for a signal which could be a breakout or a breakdown of the channel. And lo and behold, we had a breakout of that structure during the course of the New York session yesterday, which gave us a signal, a clue into the potential strength of the buyers at this point in the market. And since we have a breakout of that structure during the course of yesterday, then we want to be looking forward to a confirmation, which should definitely come in form of a retest of structure. And right now, price is back into the consolidation phase that we identified yesterday, and it has been oscillating right within that area. And I'm of the opinion that we will be having a bullish potential right from this point. So I think right around this area or above the $100 mark appears to be a very good area to take advantage of any bullish potential on this one. And the reason why I've said that is this: if we look at the structure we have here in the last 24 hours, we will notice that we had a demand level around the $99-98 area, and since that time we have not seen price come back into that level, hereby giving us a higher low at this point. And whenever you see a higher low within a structure, we should be seeing that as a signal that a bullish potential is coming in. And so with the scenario we have here, so I'm thinking that a bullish potential is imminent on the structure. So what are we going to be looking out for? Like I said, we should be looking out to take advantage of the bullish momentum anywhere from here, or if you are still feeling doubtful about it, you can wait for price to go above the $100 level, which is a very significant key level that we are using to guide our action during this week. So this is the key level we have for this week here, the $100 mark area. So let me just readjust it within the screen so that we can always see it while we are doing our analysis here. So we have the key level around this area. So now this is what I want to be looking forward to. I want to be looking forward to price moving up to the upside from here. And if we have a breakout of the 102 level, price comes out to do a retest of that level, I want to be adding more position at the site of a reversal pattern as price continue to move to the upside. So where will our take profit target be on the UK oil? Well, if we look at the left, we can see that we have a structure to play around with, and that structure is the supply niche we identified around the $108 mark. And if we look at what has been happening around that area since the beginning of the month of July, we saw that that area has been a selling niche for participants in the market. As anytime price comes into that area, we always see that potential move to the downside from there. So we want to be mindful of our price related with this level before we could think of considering if we want to go to the upside or not. So there is a possibility price could come into this level, possibly do a retest of that bullish trend line here, and then price sends to the downside. So there is a likelihood that we could be having a bearish momentum from that area. So that's why I'll be advising that let us place our take profit target around that area, at least for the meantime, and after which we see our price relate with that level, which might happen probably tomorrow or in the next couple of days. Then we can now make a decision on what to do next. But right now, in the meantime, in the short-term perspective, let's aim at a bullish potential with the aim profit target between the 106 area and the $110 area as our take profit target for any bullish potential on the UK oil. Now, that is the first scenario we want to be looking out for. And then the other scenario is this: what happens if we see a breakdown of this support level of the channel we identified yesterday? Remember, we identified this channel yesterday where price has been oscillating right within that channel. And what if price now breaks down that channel? That is the $98 level, $98.50 level. If price breaks down that level, then remember, we don't want to get too excited as we're still within a very strong demand zone. If we look left, we can see that price has been respecting this $98 mark in the past. We had one in the earlier days of the month of July. In the mid-month of July, we also have price respecting that area, and you can see right now that we have a consolidation phase right within that demand structure, giving us a further confirmation that we are still within a very strong demand zone. So even if we cite a breakdown of this level, it is very important that we stay mindful and wait to see how price is going to relate with that level. Is there a likelihood that we could be having a retest of structure? Hold on a second, sorry about that. We could be having a retest of structure to push price to the downside. And downside here, we have a demand zone around this $95 mark. Yeah, also, if we look left, we can see that we have a demand niche around this area, which has been respected. So, well, for me at this point, if you are a short-term trader, those who trade on a lower time frame or scalper, maybe you might be looking to take advantage of that move if price breaks below that structure. Remember, if price breaks below, is just a signal. We are not sure if that's a confirmation we are going downtrend. We want to wait for price to do a retest of structure, and then we look out for confirmation in the form of a reversal pattern that supports a downtrend scenario here. Then we want to take advantage of that move from around this area into this area. It's quite I think it's quite okay, around 350 pips to catch here if that happens. So it's not only for scalpers anyway, but I'm still very mindful of taking in selling momentum around this area because of the nature of this juncture in the market, as it's still a very strong buying niche for participants in the market. So this is what I'll be looking out for. Like I said, you can buy around this point with a stop loss right below the previous structure here, so that if price breaks below, we get stopped out with some loss, which I think the profit we made on Monday is still okay to cover that loss. So that is the scenario we are looking out for here on the UK oil. And then we have a take profit target within that zone, which will dovetail to how many pips that is. That's around 700 pips to catch here if price moves as expected on the UK oil. So this is my scenario on the UK oil. So we continue to look for that bullish momentum. However, if we see a breakdown of that structure, please put it in consideration too that we want to be looking forward to a retest of structure to join any decline. So like I always say, you might want to screenshot my screen so that you can use it as a reference point when you're about taking your own individual decision during the New York session. So I think I've made myself clear. I've tried as much as possible to simulate different scenarios that could likely come up. So if any of the scenarios come up, I'm very sure you are well equipped to be able to make a swift and precise decision when you are making your opening your own position on the trade. But if you have any question whatsoever, feel free to drop a word or two in the comment section to inquire further to what is not clear to you. So I'll be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds off to read the chat, and you have that time to drop any comments or any questions you want to be asking. Okay. Susie MB, good morning. And Jerry, hello, good morning. 3116, good morning to you. Glad to have you around. Khalidu, okay, good morning. I'm not sure I understand TLMND. I'm not sure I understand what that means. If you are talking to me, I will suggest you rephrase that statement so I can get a better perspective into what you're trying to say. Seven six four, good morning. Abdul Jabbar, good morning. All right. In the absence of no questions, I want to assume we all understand my explanation on the UK oil so far. So let's move on to the next pair, which is the GBP USD. I was topped out yesterday on the GBP USD. Remember, we were expecting a bullish momentum here on the GBP USD. So I was topped out. Hold on a second. Let me give you a clear chart so that we can have a better understanding of what we want to talk about here on the GBP USD. Remember, during the course of our trading session, during the beginning of the week, we had this key level at 1.21900, which is our temporary key level, though we have a major key level at 1.20500 area, which price broke out, which is a barrier that's identifying when price broke out of the supply zone during the course of last week trading session. And we saw price come back to do a retest of that area, which also shares a confluence with the bullish trend line, which I identify. You can see on your screen with the thick dotted green line. And price broke out of the 1.219, which I took advantage of on Monday, and I was expecting price to come back and do a retest of that structure to give us further confirmation to join the rally to the upside. However, fortunately for us, price came back into that area I took advantage of that, but I told you to take advantage of that move. And what happened? We were stopped out. So we closed that position on a loss. Remember, I told you that there is a likelihood that that 1.219 could be broken during the course of the live session yesterday. I made mention of that. And I said, even if it is broken, that I'm not going to sell yet. I'm not going to be looking for any selling potential yet, as there is a possibility that price will come back and do a retest of that bullish trend line that was identified earlier. And right now we have something that looks like that. Price has come back to do a rejection of that trend line, and we saw multiple engulfing candle that took price back right into that key level we identified at 1.21900. And if you look at what has been happening since the early hours of today, price action has been consolidating around that level. It's around that area. It has not broken down that bullish trend line, and is still within the key level around this area, where right above that key level is most appropriate for me to take advantage of any bullish opportunity here if you had missed that move from this point. So now that we have this kind of setup, what is going to be our plan during the New York session? Well, it's very simple at this point. We have price respecting that bullish trend line one more time, and then we are in a consolidation phase. So definitely I want to be taking advantage of any bullish potential right above that 1.219 area as an entry point. Around that area or around this area, anywhere around here still looks most appropriate, as long as price action is right above that bullish trend line. So like I told you during the early days of the week on Monday, I told you that the bullish trend line shall serve as our yardstick for any trading opportunity this week, as we continue to look for any buying opportunity right above that bullish trend line. Now that we have this scenario here, the other scenario which I shared with you yesterday was that if I'm not going to be selling the GBP USD unless we have a breakdown of that bullish trend line. So if we have a breakdown of that bullish trend line, that is a signal that we want to be going bearish. But remember, we are not getting too excited at the sight of a signal, as we want to wait for price action to give us a confirmation, and that will definitely come in the form of a retest of structure. And what do I mean by that? I'm expecting price to come back to retest that bullish trend line, or could go as far as rejecting that key level at 1.219, after which I will be looking for reversal patterns on lower time frame to join the decline to the downside. And if that decline is going to be happening after the confirmation has been made, has been cited, then our take profit target for the meantime should still be at the around the key level at 1.20500 area, as that area still seems most appropriate to take advantage of any to set our take profit target at for now, which will dovetail to how many pips that is. That's around 120 pips to catch here. That is for now. And let's see how price will relate with that level. If we see a further breakdown of that level, then we want to look forward to a retest of structure to give us further confirmation to join the decline. And if we look left, we can see that that area has been a selling niche for participants in the market. In the past, we can see we have a selling niche here in the early days of the month of July. Mid-July, we also had a selling niche around this area, and in the later part of July, we had a selling niche around this area. So if price breaks below this level and we see price come back to do a retest of structure, well, it is a very good area to do a selling momentum from that, take a selling position from that area. So that is the scenario we're going to be looking for any selling buyers here. So like I said, I'm not going to be selling the GBP USD unless I see a breakdown of that bullish trend line. If that does not happen, anywhere right above this bullish trend line appears to be the most appropriate place for me to take advantage of any bullish momentum here on the GBP USD. So if we are taking a buy here, where will our take profit target be? Remember, we identified a bearish trend line on the daily time frame, on our higher time frame, which is the black line you can see on your screen. Let me show you what that is. Let's scale up to the daily time frame, where I was able to connect the series of lower heights, and we were able to have that. Hold on a second, I want to. Okay, so that's the black line here. So we have this bearish trend line. So I'm expecting that price will still come into this bearish trend line, probably to reject it and send price to the downside, or we could be having a breakout of structure where a retest of structure should give us further confirmation to join the rally. So like I was saying, on the 1 hour time frame, I want us to have, so that's the bullish trend line here on this one, the 1 hour time frame. This is the bearish trend line we saw on the daily time frame. So that area should be our first take profit target area, at least for now. So that is between the 1 point, let me see where that is, between the 1.22850 area and the 1.23 300 area seems to be most appropriate, and that will dovetail to, let's see how many pips that is. That's around the 100, 120, 130 pips thereabout, depending on where your take profit target is going to be. So if price moves in that direction, so I'm looking forward to that. Let's see how price, if price moves in that direction, let's see how price will relate with that bearish trend line. Are we going to be seeing a breakout of that structure, giving us a signal that we are going bullish, further bullish, or are we going to be seeing a reversal pattern, probably like a double top structure at that bearish trend line that could be sending price crashing to the downside from that area? So these are the things I want to be looking out for, but in the meantime, I'm still looking forward to a bullish momentum anywhere right above that bullish trend line or right above the 1.219 area that we identified on Monday. So this is a very, very simple setup we have identified here on the GBP USD, and I think I was able to share with you all the different and possible scenarios that might come up during the New York session, and so we could take advantage of any of these opportunities when we see price action move in those patterns I've just explained. However, if you still have further questions or inquiries regarding the GBP USD, feel free to drop a word or two in the comment section, and I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to look at the charts. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a word or two. And therefore, good morning, good day, foot trader. Okay, full trader. That's interesting. What a name. Dylano07, hi. Hello, CCI Uster. Wants us to check AUD. Okay, of course, we are going to do that. I think we did AUD USD yesterday, and prices yet to move significantly as expected, but we will look at it. Trust me, CCI Uster, we are going to look at it. So, I think we are good. Any questions whatsoever on GBP USD? Okay. In the absence of no questions, I assume we all understand what I've explained so far. It's quite simple. It's very, very simple setup here on the GBP USD. So let's move on to the gold, and that's XAUUSD. Gold hit my take profit yesterday, and I hope you are also part of that trade. Yes, we take profit at 1,786. So I shared with you 1,780 level as our take profit target on the gold yesterday, and I was able to take that profit before that bearish move happened, and now we are right back on the resistant level of the descending channel we identified on the higher time frame. So let's go back to the higher time frame and see what I'm talking about. So first of all, let me delete this. We no longer need this one. I think this is still necessary. We still need this one. We still need this key level here. This at 1,760 level still appear to be useful. So let's see what our expectations is going to be like. So I wanted to show you something on the daily time frame. So we scale up to the daily time frame, and I was able to identify a descending channel here. We have the descending channel here. Price respected this channel for a while before we saw the breakdown of that channel. You saw attempts to break out of that channel was met by stiff resistance by the sellers, and price was broke the support level of descending channel only to rise again back into the resistant level of that descending channel. So this area we have right now is a very sensitive area, as prices around a trend line. And remember what I used to say about price action oscillating around a trend line. If price action oscillating around a trend line, we need to be very careful, as we don't want to take any unnecessary trade. We want to seek significant confirmation that price is actually going to respect that trend line, or is it going to break out of that trend line. So this is what we are going to be looking out for in the New York session today, and because of this we'll have to scale down to a much lower time frame so that we can see how we can actually take advantage of any momentum that is coming in here on the XAUUSD. So when we scale down to, before we scale down to the 1 hour time frame, I want to show you something here. I made mention of something here yesterday. I said I'm not going to be selling the XAUUSD unless we see price come back into the descending channel zone. Remember, that is, if price breaks down the $1,760 level, then a retest of that structure should give us confirmation to join the decline. Right now, what we see here is that price has broken right back into that descending channel. So it's likely that we might be seeing this breakout as a very false one. But if price continues right above the $1,760 level, that is, if price if this area turns out to be a reversal pattern, that is a double bottom structure right above that key level, then we know that that 1,760 level, we know that that breakout is actually a true breakout. So if we see a reversal pattern here, then I want to be joining a rally to the upside from that point. However, since we saw a breakdown of the 1,760 level, if this happens to be a retest of structure, then I want to be doing a sell right below the $1,760 level. So we are on a 4 hours time frame. So to say things more clearly, let's scale down to the daily, to the 1 hour time frame. So let us see how price action has been evolving in the last 24 hours. So what do we have here? So with the key level sitting at $1,760, I want us to be using that area as our yardstick going forward. Now, hold on a second. I don't think that is most appropriate. If you look at this level, look at this area, we have a selling niche here. Whenever price comes into that area, there's an attempt to sell price. You can see the same thing happen here. There's an attempt to sell, then it became a demand zone here. Price came back here to be a demand zone. It was respected here, then it was broken to this area, then price came back again into that level that we just identified. So you can see how this area has been a very significant level, which has been determinant of price action in the past. So I think that area is most appropriate to cite our key level at this point. So I will have to be readjusting this $1,760 level. So let's bring out our line chart so that we can have a specific connection. So we have somewhere around here, which is around the, let me see, I think $1,770 appears to be most appropriate. So I want to be relabeling this as $1,770 level. So this level is appears to be okay for us to be serving as our key level. So let's have a visual representation of what we are talking about here. We saw how price respected this level. This area was supply, broke out of structure, became a demand zone. Making a demand zone, then we saw a breakdown of structure, which also shares a confluence with the resistant level of descending channel. Price came back to do a retest of structure, and this is likely going to be a signal that we are going bearish on this one. So what is going to be happening here right now is this. So I want us to be looking for any selling momentum right below the $1,759 level. So if price breaks below, we should be selling, or anywhere around here most appropriate for a selling momentum. And then we have I just had the break in transmission now. Can you still see my screen? Can you hear and see my screen? Can you hear me and see my screen? Please kindly confirm you can do that by typing a hi in the comment section so that I can know we're on the same page. Can you all hear me and can see my screen? If you can hear me and can see my screen, kindly type in a hi in the comment section so that I know we're on the same page. I want to be sure that I'm broadcasting live. Hector RHD, okay. I'll take that as a confirmation that we can hear and see me. Okay, great. So what I'm saying here is that it looks appropriate to be selling the gold at this point as price has come back to do a retest of the $1,770 level, and for the in the meantime, our take profit target is going to be right on the bullish trend line, which also shares a confluence with the key level at $1,740 area. So at this point in time, let's have our take profit target around this level. Hold on a second. Around this level as our take profit target, which will dovetail to about how many pips that is. That's around over 2,000 pips to catch here. And let's see how price will relate with that level. Are we going to be having price respect this level, probably do a reversal pattern to push price to the upside, or are we going to be having a breakdown retest of structure to send price crashing? So these are the things we want to be looking out for. However, if we do see price come back right above the $1,770 level, that is, we see this move right up here, then we want to be shifting our bias into a bullish potential, as if we see a retest of structure on lower time frames, could be your 5 or 10 minutes time frame, then we want to join a rally into the 1,820 $1,830 area. So the bullish trend line on the daily time frame is most appropriate to be our take profit on a long-term momentum. However, you can cut your take profit target into half. Probably the first $1,800 area should be the first take profit target. Then, however, the way whatever relationship price has with that level will now determine if we are going to be adding more position in the bullish perspective. So this is the scenario we are looking out for on the gold. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to drop a word or two in the comment section to inquire further, and I will be willing to shed more light on this. So that is that on the XAUUSD. So let's move on to AUDUSD. So on the AUDUSD, let's see, where's AUDUSD? I'm still expecting that bullish momentum on AUDUSD. Sincerely speaking, I'm still thinking that we still have a buy to do here on the AUDUSD. Let me clear my chart so that we can have a clear screen. Remember, during the course of yesterday, we were able to identify a key level at 0.69150, and if we look left, that level has been a very significant level that has been the determinant of price action. As anytime price comes into that area, we either see it as a supply niche or we see it as a demand niche. Like this one here, we saw it as a demand niche here, and we saw multiple demand structure around this area. It was also a demand niche around this area, and price has come back into this level and rejected it one more time, making that area a strong demand level. So because of this area at this point on the 1 hour time frame, and looking at that bullish trend line that price has been respecting since the beginning of the later part of last month, we can see this bullish trend line that price has been respecting since So we can see that we have this bullish trend line that price action has been respecting in the past, and because of that, I'm still hoping that we have a bullish potential to catch here. We don't know when that is going to happen. It could be the non-farm payroll day, but I'm not sure when it's going to happen. But I'm very um, confident that the structure we have here is more of a bullish potential. And then if we look at what has been happening in the last 24 hours here, we saw this bearish move to the downside, and the structure we begin to see at this point looks like an inverse head and shoulder pattern, which from a technical perspective is a strong reversal pattern as well. So I want to see price continue to the upside from here, and if we do have a break above of that bullish trend line and price does a retest of that bullish trend line, I want to add more position to my existing trade. So the potential on the AUDUSD is still bullish for me, and where will our take profit target be in the meantime? So in the meantime, I'll be advising that we have this level as our take profit target area, which will dovetail to about 120 pips thereabout. Around this area, we can see that we have a selling niche around this area. So one thing we want to see is we want to see how price will relate with that level, if we are going to be adding more position to our bullish potential, or are we going to be having a reversal pattern around that area to join a decline. But in the meantime, I'm looking forward to a bullish potential as long as price is right above my key level at 0.69150 area. However, if the possibility, what happens if price breaks below the 0.6915 level? That is, price breaks below the 6195 level during the New York session. Well, we have a major key level here that was guiding our actions since the beginning of the week around this area. So there is a possibility that price could come back into this level and do a reversal pattern that will push price to the upside from this area. So let's see what happens if price breaks below the 0.6915 area. Then it could be a signal that we are going bearish, but we still need further confirmation that we're actually going bearish. And if price gets into the 0.68700 level and we have a reversal pattern from there, we could join that bullish potential. But this area, the retest of that bullish trend line, will now determine if the bearish momentum is actually going to be valid, because we have a breakdown of that structure here. Then we expect price to come and do a retest of that structure before we could look out for patterns that support a trend continuation to the downside from there. So in the meantime, I'm still expecting a bullish potential, but on the long term, let's see if price breaks below the 0.6915 level. That's if price breaks below 0.69150 level. If price does that, then there is a possibility that we could have a reversal pattern on 0.68700 that push price back into the bullish trend line, reject the bullish trend line, and send price crashing to the downside from here. But if price still stays right above the 0.6915 level, then I'll be holding on to my bullish perspective from here. So this is the scenario I'm looking out for for the AUDUSD. I'm still expecting a bullish potential here. Let's see how price plays out during the next couple of days, and then we can see if we can add more positions, or we can change our perspective on this one. So this is what I'm looking out for on the AUDUSD. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to drop a word or two in the comment section. I will be willing to be of help. I'll be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to read the charts, and you can also use that time to drop in a word or two if you have any inquiry. I think we have 3 more minutes left. Hello, hi Max, you just coming in. Trust you're doing well. How are you? Okay, 986, hello, good morning. Okay, 470, good morning. Seoul for Miss, thank you very much. Okay, well, all right, I'm not sure I understand what you mean there. Okay, Harabi, hi. Okay, so let's take the last one. Someone wanted us to look at the EURUSD, so I think this is going to be our last pair for today. Let me quickly do a run. I have 2 more minutes left on the EURUSD. I'm expecting a bullish potential opportunity here on the EURUSD, and the reason why that is because I actually projected that we will be having a reversal pattern from this point, which I drew on the chart, though I was expecting that reversal pattern to happen right above the 1.01800 level, which is my key level for the week. But it's still the same. Price did the reversal pattern right below that key level, and we are right above that key level at this point in time. So I'm still holding that bullish bias here. We saw this impulsive move to the downside, then we saw a reversal pattern in the form of a double bottom structure here on the 1 hour time frame, which is a very good signal. Then I want to wait out for a signal in the form of a breakout of that structure. So if we do have a breakout of structure here, that's the signal we are going bearish. Remember, we are not getting too excited at the sight of a signal. We're waiting for price action to come back and do a retest of structure, which will come in the form of a retest of the neckline of that structure. It could be the 1.01800 area, or it could be the 1.01900 area. Then we look out for patterns on lower time frame to join the rally to the upside from here. So this is the scenario I'm looking out for here, and to further give importance to my bullish perspective here, we have a bearish trend line that has been holding price action since the beginning of the month of June. That you can see the temporary dotted line on your screen here. And one thing we saw during the later part of last month's trading session was that we had a break above of that bullish trend, of that bearish trend line. And remember, from a technical perspective, when you have a breakout of structure, what do you expect? You expect price to come back and do a retest of structure, which appears to have happened at this point in time. And it's also not a coincidence we are seeing a reversal pattern right above that bullish trend, bearish trend line. And I'm thinking, waiting for signals to give me further confirmation to join the rally to the upside. So in the long term, we're expecting that our take profit target should be right at the major bearish trend line here, that is around this area on a long-term perspective. So around the 1.4 and the 1.04 and the 1.05 appears to be an area we will be looking for a take profit target in the long-term perspective. However, on a short-term note, one thing I want to be looking out for is this. During the beginning of the month of July, we saw the significant breakdown of this demand zone here, and that area, since we had that breakdown of that area, there is a likelihood that price is likely to come back into this level. So because of that, in the meantime, we should be having our take profit target within that area, which will dovetail to about how many pips, that around 130, 150 pips to catch here if price moves in our direction. So this is what I want to be looking out for on the EURUSD. That's a bullish potential that I'm looking out for on the EURUSD. However, if we are going to be doing a sell, how do we take advantage of that selling opportunity? How do we know if the momentum have shifted? That is, a selling momentum wants to come in. Well, if we look at the left structure here from the demand zone we identified on the 14th of July, we can see that we have price has been finding higher lows at this point. And if we connect these higher lows together, what do we have? We could have a uniform bullish trend line that we could be using as our guide going forward. Let me bring out my line chart at this point and then run this bullish trend line right through the higher lows that we have here. And what do you see? You can see this bullish trend line also shares a confluence with where price action is testing the bearish trend line. So it is a very, very significant level where we need to be wary. We need to be mindful of how price is going to react from that level. So that's why I'm waiting for that confirmation to join a bullish potential opportunity here on the EURUSD. So as you can see, we have the bullish trend line here. So if this is going to turn out to be a selling bias, then I want to see a breakdown of that bullish trend line. So if price breaks down this bullish trend line, then I will know that we might be having a momentum shift. But remember, we are not getting too excited at the sight of a signal. We want to wait for price to give us a further confirmation, and that will only come if price does a retest of that structure. And if price does a retest of that structure, we go down to our lower time frame and look out for patterns on lower time frame that supports a trend continuation to the downside. And if that happens, we'll definitely we should be having this demand zone area as our next profit target zone, which will dovetail to about how many pips that is. Let's see, that's around the 170 180 pips thereabout if price move significantly in that direction. However, I also want to state this: if price breaks down, does a retest of this bearish bullish trend line, and price continues to the downside, one thing I'll be advising here is that we should, as soon as price comes into the 1.0100 area, this level here, we want to move our stop loss to break even so that we can lock in our position against any sudden spike, any sudden bullish spike that might happen. It might be today, it might be during the non-farm period on Friday, whatever it is. As you can see in the past, we have this area as being a demand niche, so there is a tendency that price will come back there and do a reversal pattern to push price to the upside. So this is the scenarios we are looking out for on the EURUSD. And if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to drop a word or two in the comment section, as we call it a day here. So before I close, let me quickly do a recap of what we talked about so far. And we started the day with the US oil, where we identified the channel, and I told you how you can actually take a buy opportunity right from this level, as long as we are still right above that demand zone. And if we have a breakout of the key level at the $95 level, a retest of structure could give us further confirmation to add more position to our existing trade. And if we do have a breakout of that bearish trend line here, a retest of that level also gives us another opportunity to add more position to our existing trade. So we'd have a take profit target at the $100 mark for the US oil. So I'm expecting a bullish potential on the US oil. However, there is a possibility that if price breaks below the demand zone here, what are we going to be looking out for? Well, that is a sign that we might be going bearish, but I want to advise that we remain mindful of any bearish potential here, as we are still right within a demand zone at this point, as price could come into this demand zone and reverse to the upside. So if you are a short-term trader, a scalper, whatever you are, you might want to take advantage of that move if we have a breakdown retest of this level, which is around the 100 to 150 pips move. But for me, if we have a breakdown, I still want to be very mindful and wait to see how price will relate with that level and this level as well. As if we see a breakdown of both levels, then we know we are going bearish on this one. So that's that on the US oil. Then we moved on to the UK oil, where I also shared a similar scenario with you with what we have on the US oil. And what I shared here, we were able to identify a channel after taking some profit on Monday. We had a channel here, and I told you that we are waiting for a signal in the form of a breakout of channel, which appeared to have happened during the course of yesterday's New York session. We had a breakout of that structure here, and price came back to do a retest of structure. So I said you might want to take advantage of any move right now, or you wait for price to go above our major key level, which is at the $100 mark. So we want to see price climb above the $100 mark, then you could take advantage of a bullish opportunity with your stop loss right below the previous structure here. And where will our take profit target be? I told you that we should be looking at around this area, the 106.50, 108, 109, 110 area for our take profit target. And the reason why I said that is this: if we look left, we can see that we have a structure here where seller have come together to always sell the UK oil. So there is a possibility that price could still come into that level to do a sell from that area. So we need to be mindful. We want to see how price will relate with that level before we'll be thinking of adding more position to our bullish potential trade, or we could be looking forward to a reversal pattern from this area to the downside. So let's see how price action plays out here, and then we could so our advice should be on standby. You wait for that opportunity to come before you join. So then we talked about the AUDUSD also. Like I told you, I'm still expecting a bullish potential on the AUDUSD as long as price is right above the 0.69150 level. I also shared with you how the structure we are having right now looks more like a reversal pattern. After this impulsive move to the downside, we saw this kind of structure that looks more like an inverse head and shoulder pattern, which is yet to be completed. So I'm expecting that this is going to signal that reversal pattern that we are waiting for. And one thing I said here also is that we have a bullish trend line that has been guiding price action since the beginning of the month of July, though we had a breakdown of that level here. Hold on a second, let me show you. Price has been respecting that bullish trend line, though we had the breakdown, but the breakdown turned out to be something like a reversal pattern, which sent price to the upside. And since then, into the later part of last month's trading session, price has continued to respect that bullish trend line, giving me a clue that we might continue to see price climb to the upside on this pair. However, if we see a breakdown of that key level at 0.69150, what should we be doing? Well, I said if price breaks down that 0.6915, we need to be very, very careful, as that does not mean that a selling momentum has finally come, as we want to wait for further confirmation, as we still have a major key level at 0.68700 level. You can see if price breaks down, there's a likelihood that price will still come back and retest this level to push price to the upside. So we need to be very, very careful. So if I'm going to be selling this one, then what I want to be saying is this: if price breaks below the 0.6915, I want to see a reversal pattern here where price comes back to do a retest of this bullish trend line, where I'll be looking for structure that will support a trend continuation to the downside. So this is the scenario I'll be looking out for if I want to do a sell on the AUDUSD. But even that does not happen and we still remain right above the 0.69150 level, I want to continue to hold a bullish bias. Then we went on to talk about the XAUUSD, which is the gold, and on the gold we were able to identify a new key level at $1,770 level. And one thing we saw in the last 24 hours on the gold is that we saw this impulsive move to the downside, which broke through the resistant level of the descending channel we identified on the higher time frame. If I showed you the higher time frame, on the 4 hours time frame we have a descending channel and price is right under that descending channel. So we want to see if price want to respect that channel to the downside one more time, making this level a false breakout. But if price continues right back above the $1,770, I want to do a buy with a take profit target in the meantime at $1,800, and on the long term between the $1,830 and $1,840 area. And then I told you that if we are going to be selling the gold, what do we want to be seeing? I said we should be waiting for price to come below the $1,760 level to sell the gold. So if that happens, we want our take profit target to be at the key level at $1,740 area, which also shares a confluence with the bullish trend line that we identified during the course of last week trading session. So we saw it's likely that price will come into this level and then continue to the upside from that area. So these are the scenarios we are looking out for on the XAUUSD. And I think the last one we shared today was the GBPUSD, where I told you I'm still expecting a bullish potential on the GBPUSD if price, as long as price is above that bullish trend line and the key level at 1.21900 area. And what I said is this: we got stopped out yesterday. We were expecting to sell, we were expecting to buy here, but we got stopped out as price broke below the 1.219 level. But one thing that's still holding my bullish bias is this bullish trend line. And because price respected that bullish trend line, and since then we've been seeing a consolidation phase right around the 1.219. So we want to be very, very mindful, as we want to see price break above the 1.219 to join the rally to the upside, hereby respecting that bullish trend line with a take profit target around the 1.23 1.235 area, at least for the meantime. However, if we see a breakdown of that bullish trend line, that is price breaks down that bullish trend line, then that is likely going to be a signal that we want to be selling the GBPUSD. But we are not getting too excited, as we want to wait for confirmation in the form of a retest of structure, and that will come, definitely come, if price comes back to retest that bullish trend line or probably retest that key level at 1.219, then we look out for patterns on lower time frame, that is reversal patterns that supports a trend continuation to the downside. And if that happens, what are we going to be looking out for as our take profit target? Well, I shared with you that for the meantime, our take profit target should be around the 1.20500 area. And the reason why that is a very strong key level, as this area has been a selling niche in the past, and we want to see how price will relate to that level first. If price breaks down that level, then a retest of structure should give us further confirmation to join the decline. So these are the scenarios we are looking out for on the for the New York session. Today we are able to talk about how many pairs today: the US oil, the UK oil. We talked about the gold, we did the EURUSD, we did the AUDUSD, and finally we did the GBPUSD, making about 6 pairs we did today. And that's quite a lot of trading opportunities lining up for us this New York session. So I'll be advising that we be on standby. I hope you munch my screen so that you can use it as reference point when you're about taking your individual decision. And I also want to state this, which is very important. Don't get too excited at the sight of a signal. Whenever you see an engulfing candle crashing through a key level, remember that is just a signal. We don't want to jump in front of a moving train, as we want to wait for the next bus stop to enter the train gently. So what we are going to be doing is, whenever we see that signal come, we want to be patient, breathe in, breathe out, remain patient, and wait for the confirmations to come in the form of a retest of structure, after which you can now join the rally or decline after confirmations on your lower time frame. So on this note, I want to appreciate everyone in the house. It has been a pleasure working with you guys today. It was a wonderful moment. Thank you very much for being around, and I look forward to seeing you guys same time tomorrow, 11 a.m. West African time, 10 a.m. UTC, and same place, Xtrend Speed Live Hub. And if you have your friends, tell them to join us tomorrow. Download the Xtrend Speed Live and be part of the team. So thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow as we continue to monitor price action. Best of luck during the New York session, and bye bye.